I really am beginning to suspect that this whole car chase is just Meghan's way of trying to destroy Harry. She already knows that he's paranoid, that he's obsessed when it comes to the press, but she has had Batgrid on speed dial since the very beginning. I can't help but wonder if she made a deal with them on Tuesday night. I wouldn't be surprised. And then Harry didn't want to cooperate, and maybe that's where all the problems started. How does it make sense for anyone to go to an award ceremony that has been publicized for months and then refuse to have their photo taken? Doesn't make a lot of sense. If that was really how Harry felt, then he should have stayed home. New York City is filled to the brim with real celebrities and VIPs, and they walk down the sidewalk every single day, but there is no car chase in sight because they're not courting the paparazzi. It also says a lot that the shot of Meghan and Harry in the cab, well, Harry looks stressed out, his face is all red, and Meghan was grinning ear to ear. If she really loved Harry like a normal wife loves her husband, then of course none of this would be happening. But see, Meghan knows all about Harry's weak spots, and over the past 5 years, she has been slowly but surely dripping poison into his brain. I am convinced that she is in cahoots with Doria and probably even Marcus to drive him insane. I also think the royal family sees this, but at this point, there's nothing they can do. Harry's a grown man, he's living on another continent, and it seems like he still believes that Meghan can do no wrong. I have actually been to many funerals of young, fit men who accidentally OD'd, and Harry's money also means that he can afford the best of the best, which is so often what kills people. And then Meghan's going to turn around and blame her mother, and then the devaluing stage of her will begin, if it hasn't already. You see, from Meghan's perspective, that is one of the best things that could possibly happen to her. She gets to keep that title, she's got the invisible kids if they're real, she's got all the money, she's got the house, she's got the car, she has her brand and business opportunities, and she doesn't have to share any of that anymore. And then she can play the role of the grieving widow and use that to manipulate the public into feeling sorry for her, or so she thinks. And I'm sure that Harry has at least one, if not a few, lucrative life insurance policies. She would get all that money too, and whatever her two invisible kids would inherit on what would have been Harry's behalf if he had survived from the royal family, from his father, from his grandparents, from the Queen's mother. All these people have left him money, or they will be leaving him money when they pass. Meghan would get all of that on behalf of the kids too. In fact, if Harry is no longer around, Meghan's life would be a lot easier. If it were done the right way, the insurance policies would still pay out, and Meghan would be gone and she would have everything. And then King Charles and the rest of the family, I'm sure, would never see those kids again, if they're real. If something were to happen to Harry, I do wonder if Meghan would hold the invisible children, because you know that would be her bargaining chip for the rest of her life. She would do her best to convince King Charles that the children have to live like a real prince and princess should, so he needs to pay for a nicer home for them. Oh, and by the way, the children need good private schooling. Pay me, and don't you worry about the rest. I'll pay for the school. And oh yeah, by the way, Charles, the kids need a lot of money too. But he would never get to see them or talk to them, and all that money would go straight into Meghan's pockets. Then she could just wash her hands clean of him, but attempt to fleece the royal family for child support and to keep herself in the lap of luxury for the rest of her life. I really feel like that is her plan. See, Meghan being this perma-victim is only at the starting point if she really succeeds in making Harry off himself. It is a really scary thought, but friends, I'm worried that it may just happen. And I wouldn't think Harry's feeling very good these days either. It is sad that he left the only life he ever knew. And for what? To be with a woman who doesn't really love him because he was so jealous of his older brother? What is the reason? He claims that being in England is just so bad for his mental health. Well, look at him now. He doesn't look very good to me. It looks like life in California is taking a serious toll. He literally gave up his entire life for Meghan, and now she is so horrible to him. You see, most of the time, I think Harry is a willing participant because of everything he has done and said about his own family. But I think somewhere deep inside, he might still have a little voice that says, maybe Meghan isn't that good for you. Maybe these drugs are not very good for you. His paranoia is being fed and amplified. See, when he's on drugs, he believes the lies a lot easier, and Meghan is pushing him to end things. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit more about this alleged car chase. So, real celebrities are walking around New York every single day. Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian are there right now. Taylor Swift was there last week, just walking around like a normal person. See, Meghan and Harry really want to have it both ways. But they can't. You cannot write a book like Harry wrote, go on book tours, do all these interviews, put out a reality TV show, call the paparazzi when you go out to dinner or you just go out hiking, and then get all up in arms when somebody takes your photo when you are at a publicized event. And I don't know if Harry realizes that Meghan loves to call the paparazzi. She's been doing that since she was an actress on Suits, but the phone call is coming from in the house, if you know what I mean. Harry just made a statement that he was upset about privacy. I'm guessing Meghan had to admit to him that she called her photographer, so the truth would come out. If not that, then maybe Harry was in on it too. Maybe this is all just a part of their little scheme, like the time they claimed they were being stalked. I don't know. I just can't decide. In some ways, I think that maybe Harry was in on the plan, because right now he is in the British courts fighting for IPP status. His supposed friend said that Harry was going to use this chase as evidence in court, so I'm guessing he agreed to this. He also did not look very scared either. He was too busy filming, I guess. Now, the cab driver said that they didn't talk. If I were being chased at 80 miles an hour for 2 hours, you know I'd be talking to the person next to me. And could it be that Doria was actually typing stuff out for Meghan to read? She did seem interested. And somehow, in the middle of this scary chase, they managed to contact Scooby-Doo, who swore in court just last week that he didn't have any direct contact to instruct him to contact the Telegraph to release the story. Now, that is actually how the Telegraph had the story before anybody else. They really believe the public are a bunch of idiots, don't they? Well, you know what? New Yorkers are not the ones to mess with. There is something really wrong here, though. Harry looked like he was about to throw up. Why get out of your safe, secure car and get into a normal yellow cab? It doesn't make any sense. I guess it does make sense, though, when we remember that a cab has clear windows, so it's a great photo op. It's disturbing, and Harry's fear of the paparazzi is being heightened, and that's a fear that was managed pretty well until Meghan entered the picture. She has used his mother's death in a car crash to elevate his fear. Diana wasn't wearing a seatbelt, so the paparazzi could not have killed her. And the thing is, Meghan and Harry were also not wearing seatbelts, and according to reports, there simply was no car chase in New York City. This nonsense has to stop. What is it going to take for all of this to stop? The entire event is just pathetic. Meghan is going to use all his drug abuse and his mental health problems in the child custody and the divorce proceedings, I'm sure. And as usual, Meghan didn't do her homework. Otherwise, she should have understood that traffic is always a gridlock in New York. It was definitely a setup. They were escorted to their SUV from the ceremony, and then they went right around the corner, they stopped, and they got out and got into a taxi. Their security detail, meanwhile, was in 4 SUVs, one of which they got out of. The taxi driver has come out and said that the 2-hour chase only lasted for 7 minutes, and they simply were not being chased. Photographers have reported that they were asked to be there waiting to get some photos. It was a setup from beginning to end. And all they really achieved with this ridiculous plan was to upset New Yorkers, the NYPD, and Backrid. Those people are pretty angry right now. How anybody can still not understand what happened in this situation is an idiot. Harry has been shooting himself in the foot by marrying Meghan Markle, and even more long-term harm because he helped her have his children through surrogacy. The truth is, we do all choose our own poison at the end of the day. I'm sure William is pissed right now. What a nasty thing to lie about, and Harry has completely lost his mind. And Meghan, there are not even words to describe her. That woman is evil as the day is long. To lie about such a terrible event and feel just fine about it is beyond. I just cannot understand it. And you, what do you think about Harry and Meghan? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments section. If you think my video is helpful, don't be afraid to like and share with your friends and relatives who would enjoy it anytime you want.